Now that I have my new setup, I can presumably review episodes without getting flagged, so I won't need to split the videos in two. With that being said, let's review Sweet and Elite. This episode starts with Rarity coming to Canterlot to pick up fabrics. Twilight had asked Celestia to provide her with a room, and she was quick to oblige. While out on the town, Rarity decides that she'll thank Twilight by making a dress for her upcoming birthday party. Two upper-class ponies ask Rarity where she got her hat. Before she could say anything, this guy, Hayseed Turnip Truck, says that he knows Rarity and outs that she's from Ponyville, which the upper-class ponies don't seem to like. Apparently Ponyville is some small one-horse town that no one really cares about. That's an interesting idea I haven't seen too often. Rarity channels her emotions into creativity and creates a design for Twilight's dress. While picking up the materials, she bumps into another pony. This is Fancy Pants, and we can assume he's important because Rarity already knows his name. Rarity lets it slip that she's staying at the castle, and that she knows the princess. He becomes impressed. Just wait until he finds out that Rarity helped save the world, twice. Fancy Pants invites Rarity to attend the Wonderbolts Derby with him. She says that she's not sure, and so she goes to debate to herself in her room. Now let's bring up May the Best Pet Win. I gave that episode a harsh review because Rainbow Dash did some pretty horrible actions. In this episode, Rarity also does some pretty horrible actions too. However, this episode shows the way to do it correctly. Rainbow Dash flat out yelled at the animals and put them in dangerous situations without any debate, while Rarity is battling her conscience the whole way through. There is the argument that Rainbow didn't know that doing this is wrong because she definitely doesn't give any clues to it. But come on, Rainbow is an adult. Are you seriously telling me that she didn't know it was wrong? If that's true, she's the dangerous type of idiot. Rarity clearly has reluctance here, and she doesn't go gung-ho into the actions either. Eventually, Rarity finds the all-too-common procrastinator excuse, "I'll have time to do it later." I'll be honest, I don't have the moral high ground on Rarity here. She goes to the Wonderbolts Derby and seems to have some knowledge of the Wonderbolts, from Rainbow of course. To save herself from embarrassment, Rarity lies and claims that Rainbow Dash is the Wonderbolts trainer. The upper-class ponies are impressed by this and invite Rarity to several social gatherings. Unfortunately, this would cut into her time to make Twilight's dress. She hesitates at first, but eventually caves in. This leads us to our song for the episode, Becoming Popular, the pony that every pony should know. Once again, where May the Best Pet Win did everything wrong, this episode does everything right. First of all, I like the song a whole lot more. It doesn't factor into my review, but I'm just saying. No, the real reason this song is better is because there's actually a reason for it to be here. The events in the song were set up beforehand, it's not filler, and these scenes probably would be boring without the song. Unfortunately, all of these events made Rarity too exhausted to do anything, so she falls asleep after putting the bare basics of a dress together. The next day, Rarity is about to leave when she gets invited to the Canterlot garden party, which happens to be the same day as Twilight's birthday party. After some debate, Rarity writes a letter to her friends claiming that Opal has gotten very sick and they can't travel. There are 2 points of view you can have here. Either Rarity has just done an extremely horrible action and has lost all likability, or this episode has been doing a good enough job at conveying her train of thought and her inner debate as she attempts to justify this. I'm going with the latter. After all, she's gotten a taste of the livelihood she would like to have, and it seems like something hard to leave behind. Of course, this episode would be terrible if things were made easy for Rarity. Her friends come and surprise her by bringing the party to Canterlot just for Rarity. On top of that, Twilight loves the half-made thing that Rarity put together in 5 seconds. Can't decide if she's being stupid or realistically naive. By the way, that soundbite is reused from Griffin the Brush Off. Please stop making the recycling obvious. Do you know what justifies Rarity's actions for me in this episode? Guilt. Also, this is hilarious.
I'm so sorry about this. She's resting on the bed. Poor baby.
But now we have 2 parties, so we get the old sitcom cliche where Rarity has to go back and forth between them, getting increasingly disheveled. It gets a laugh, and it eventually culminates to the point where Rarity brings in a croquet mallet. It seems that the lying has to stop, until Twilight reaches a conclusion of her own.
I hadn't realized you were such a savvy business pony. You must understand. All of those ponies look so posh. And with the Grand Galloping Gala coming up, I bet you could totally get some of them to buy your dresses. Very smart.
No, I don't think she's being an idiot here. After all, Rarity is one of her best friends. Why would she even think about not attending her birthday party? Speaking of parties and their attendance, I have to ask this question. Where is Spike? Twilight is his boss, master, owner? I'm gonna go with Guardian. Why would he be missing her birthday? Because the library needs watching? As bad as Look Before You Sleep was, it at least acknowledged why Spike wasn't there. Please don't pretend we don't notice or care about him, because some of us do. Back to the episode. The rest of the main six decide to go to the garden party, and I actually have a theory as to why. It's Rainbow who brings up the idea, and she's been giving Rarity skeptical looks the whole time. I think she's letting on more than we know. For some reason, Rarity is really nervous about her friends crashing the party. I'm not sure why. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Well, it can't get any worse. You're going to love me!
Sweet Celestia, stop them! So all of her friends cause not that level of chaos, but they do create quite a bit of an uproar. Eventually, Fancy Pants stops Twilight from, seizing, and asks her where she got her dress. Twilight lets it out of the bag that Rarity is from Ponyville, and Rarity finally tells the truth. Believe it or not, this is exactly what makes everything that Rarity has done excusable, for two reasons. One, no one got hurt, that's kind of important. And two, she actually learned her lesson. That's what's important. It doesn't really matter if she gets punished or not. Speaking of which, Fancy Pants helps Rarity save face.
I, for one, find them charmingly rustic. And I think the dress you made for your friend is lovely.
This guy.
I dare say every mare in Canterlot will be wanting one.
Oh, I'd like to place my order right now.
I think you should get two.
Wait, what? Did he just ask for okay, I'll ignore that comment so I can give my final analysis. We're finally back on track. I've reviewed an episode that I can safely call good. The biggest problem most people seem to have with this episode is that Rarity doesn't get punished. First of all, she sort of does get some comeuppance with her friends crashing her party, and I still do think that Rainbow is behind it. Secondly, the point of punishment is to make sure someone has learned their lesson, and Rarity has clearly learned her lesson. Now, the only problem I see with this episode is that Spike's absence is really noticeable. But that's not enough to stop me from giving this episode a 5-star gold rating.